let's move on to part 2. In this part, you will have 1 minute to prepare for your answer, and I'm going to give you the topic here on the table, and a pencil also as a paper to prepare. So, are you ready? I'm going to time you 1 minute. Okay, let's start. Okay, let's start our part 2. We will have 2 minutes to speak. So, let's start now.
Okay, so on the progress of completing my assignment, I am usually interrupted by the notification from Facebook and Instagram, and since then I start scrolling on my phone uncontrollably, and I admit that habit is addicting and distracting also, because whenever I open the social media app, the new feeds appear as if it was an art gallery, and I usually become unaware of my activity, and time just passes by wastefully. To prevent myself from being distracted and not making any effort on my actual work, I force myself to put away my phone as far as possible until my main assignment is completed, and then I can enjoy browsing the social media as much as I want.
So, this is the end of the part 2. I will take it back, and we will begin the part 3. I'm going to ask you some more questions related to your part 2. So, firstly, how do you balance work and life?
Well, as a student in my final year of high school, I usually find myself snowed under by many assignments and projects from school clubs, and to have my life balanced, I usually make a clear to-do list, and I make myself to rest properly about 10 minutes after a 50-minute of hard work.
Will you continue doing something when you are aware that it wastes your time?
As I have mentioned in part 2, I have a bad habit of scrolling on phones uncontrollably, in which I find addicting, and to avoid it, I keep the distraction away as far as possible until I complete the task.
What kind of things make people pressured?
As a student, I usually find school assignments and projects so stressful, especially when the deadline is close and we haven't made any progress on completing it.
And finally, why do some people refuse to abide by the rules?
Well, I firmly believe that when the rules are too strict or too unreasonable, people will have a tendency to fight against it. Like in the past, when there still were discrimination against other races, people stood for their rights and demand for a more equal rules.
Okay, so that is the end of our speaking test.